Hey guys, welcome to the analysis for this Tuesday. It's February 12th and it's a little after 3:30 p.m. here, so still about an hour and a half from these daily bar closing. But so far seen some pretty decent movement today. Again, this euro strength continuing pretty much across the board. You can see here the euro dollar didn't quite come down to our level here, but is rounding out nicely. So definitely something to look at there. And then a couple other pairs also, a few of the euro crosses and also some of the dollar crosses, as the dollar had some interesting back and forth today, moving down against the USDCAD. And then up against some of the other pairs. So anyway, I just want to get through some of these and show you what I'm looking at, potential setups that are going to continue throughout the week, hopefully. And we'll get into all of that right after we cover our news. Alright guys, so for tomorrow, pound news is going to be interesting. We have Bank of England, so definitely want to pay attention to that. And then 8:30 hits with some US dollar news, core retail and retail sales, both of which can definitely have a nice effect. And then a little bit later on at 10 a.m. that's Eastern Standard Time, Treasury. Okay, so US dollar is being hit in the New York session with several red tag events. Definitely want to look to see how things shake up there with the US dollar. Again, we'll be covering a lot of the US dollar crosses today, and so we'll see how that news affects some of those. And then also some Japan news as well, so definitely want to pay attention to that. Alright guys, so that's our news. We'll head over into our terms and then get right back into the charts. Alright guys, and basically the terms are just here to say that we're not licensed to be a financial advisor by any authority. This is just for your educational purposes only, to learn from our opinions and not to be taken as how to risk your own money. Alright, so if you need to read through that, please go ahead and do that. I'm going to get back into our charts. Alright guys, so again, this euro dollar didn't quite get down into our strong support zone down here, but is rounding out nicely. Looks like it wants to move up, and so of course we have a high here that could be a definite target if this thing continues to rally, or if this channel continues going upward, we could talk about getting up to a higher high, perhaps coming all the way up to challenge that 140 area. So definitely some more room for euro dollar to go, and looking like it wants to round up nicely today. Again, we could see it slow down and slide until it gets into one of these levels here, but if not, if it continues upward, it's a leg that we might not want to miss if this euro strength continues. Alright guys, euro pound, similar situation as the euro dollar, as the euro hooking up against the pound. Now there is one thing to note here. We kind of have this little triangle here that's formed in the middle of this up move, and so this is something that I kind of like to wait on and see if we get a break. Perhaps it'll consolidate a little more before breaking, or maybe it'll break right out tomorrow with a surge back to the upside. But either way, before I think about taking long on the euro pound, I would like to see a clear break of this level, and then see if we get some nice continuation. 87 of course will serve as the target area as the recent high, but then again euro pound could go much higher. We talk about making higher highs. I think again the euro pound has a lot more room to go than 87 if it wants to, so we'll see about target areas, but right now just waiting to see if we get a break of that little triangle area. And of course, if we get a break to the downside, that would have very different implications. But as of now, I'm expecting to see a break to the upside. So just waiting on that, and then I'll update you when something happens in that situation. Alright, US yen, a little bit of a bearish day here. You can see starting to push up toward the end of the day here, but obviously not a full retrace. So we have this little mini kind of base here that's forming. Could see if it pulls back into here. We have this trend line here that has not been tested in a while that kind of formed, and really there's not much else that's going on as far as trend lines to find because it's so straight up. So as far as looking for an area to buy back into US yen, it's not exactly cut and dry, but if we get a nice pullback into the 92 area, to me that's a pretty good area to look to buy. Or if you're talking about a little longer term, you could see a pullback all the way back down to this 90 area. Looks like that would take some time to develop, but down in this 90 area would be a great area, in my opinion, to look to buy. So some different potential there. A little shorter term area here at 92.50. Of course, if you think there's major reversal potential in 92, would be another area to think about buying. So just waiting to see if we get some continuation on the bearish move today. Right now, looking like the end of the day wants to push it right back up. But again, we'll see just based on how things play out tomorrow. Again, we do have both US and yen news tomorrow, so that pair could be greatly affected based on that. Okay, pound dollar started very bearish today. You can see it came all the way back up and is no longer bearish. So just a matter of whether or not we're going to see some continuation or not here. It looks like it could easily come back up and retest this level, a decent level here. Could break back up again. We kind of have this little channel forming here to the downside. Just really not sure what pound wants to do here. Thought that maybe this was going to be the break and continuation of the pound all the way back down to some lower prices. But we just didn't get that, so it's a matter of waiting for the pound. If you're already short, maybe you're holding to see if it can struggle here and finally break through. If you're not in the trade, I'm not in the trade right now, but if you're not in the trade, maybe just waiting a little longer for a more clear break. We kind of have this little double level, kind of a channel here. I'm not even sure how to describe that. Kind of a bearish channel here that's also widening a little bit difficult to kind of see where it wants to go. But if we do get a steeper break, maybe a few consistent bearish bars in a row, and this momentum picks up, then we might finally see that follow through all the way down to 152.80 area and some of those lower prices. So again, just waiting for that pound, see if we get a clear break, and if not, we'll look for it as it breaks back up to see if we get some upward potential. I'm really not convinced either way right now that it wants to go down or up, but I'm willing to wait on that one and see if we get a clear break and then try to capture it as it moves. Alright, USDCAD setting up kind of that pin bar looking down. The USDCAD is one I got short on just a little bit ago to see if I can get some continuation, at least down to our level here. So it's a matter of time to see if this thing's going to follow through and break all the way back, through these major channel here. But in the meantime, just trying to see if we can get a little bit of follow through to kind of some of the middle levels in this channel, which is what I'm looking to do here. So looking like a nice double pin bar, trying to push down. Just wait and see if we get follow through on that. But I am short, expecting that it will break right back through and get toward this area. And so I'll keep you updated on that one. Pound New Zealand made a nice move. I mentioned yesterday that it might continue right into this level, but I want to see it break through that level. Perhaps I should have taken my own advice on thinking about a trade into this level, but I didn't. So I'm still waiting for the longer term break here. But right now, bouncing again toward the end of the day. So pound once again just struggling in some areas to continue to move lower, both on the dollar, on the New Zealand, euro pound, the same thing. So the pound is really struggling to make a move. And so it's a matter of time to see if it's eventually going to break, if that pound weakness is going to continue. And if not, hopefully it'll break to the other direction with some momentum. But, the last thing you want is just to see it kind of hanging around near these levels and not making up any ground. So hopefully we'll avoid that. We'll get a clear move in one direction or the other pretty soon. But right now, you can see that most of the pound pairs not really looking to make a strong decision at this point. So a matter of time, again, just to see if we can wait that one out and really what we get when it happens. Alright, I'll finish up with the AUD today. AUD still not making it easy to trade, as you can see. Just another bounce right back up in this level. Still looking very bearish, as you can see in this recent leg, trying to get down closer to this 102 area. And so that's pretty much still my overall expectation that this is going to fall into that level. But until then, obviously not a lot you can do in terms of trading. So struggling in this area, a kind of channeling area where AUD has struggled before. And so we'll see if it can maybe bounce right back down as it just kind of retested today. But once it gets down, if it does make it down in this 102 zone, anywhere in here, could be a nice potential to buy it back into a bounce. As you can see, some of the bounces in the past have gone up quite nicely. So that's something I'm waiting for on the AUD. Right now, not a lot to actually take a trade on, but if it moves a little lower, makes a good price action signal, then could be a great trade signal. So I'll finish up with that. I hope the analysis was helpful, guys, and as always, any thoughts or comments, feel free to leave those below, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.